Sham Sharadava Nalalida Loka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganata Sham Sharadava Nalalida Loka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatam Praptasya Kalyana Gunana Vasya Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Praptasya Kalyana Gunana Vasya Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Mahaprabhu ki Tananita Gita Vaditra Madhyam Manasura Sena Romanchakam Pasru Taranga Vajo Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Shri Vigrahara Tananitanana Shingaratanama Nirmajanado Shri Vigrahara Juktasya Bhaktamsa Niyunjatapi Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Satana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangha Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Satana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangha Kridvaiva Tripte Vajata Shadeva Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Shradikama Dabayara Para Madhurya Lila Gunarupa Namna Shradikama Para Madhurya Lila Gunarupa Namna Pratikshana Sa Danalalupasa Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Ne Kunja Yono Rati Kelisidhai Jajali Virjukti Apekshaniya Ne Kunja Yono Rati Kelisidhai Jajali Virjukti Tatratidakhya Atibalabhasya Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Atibalabhasya Vande Gurashi Sakchadhari Dena Samasta Shastrin Ruktastatha Bhavyataiva Sadabhi Kintu Prabhaja Priya Eva Tasya Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagati Kutapi Yasya Prasada Nagati Kutapi Dayam Stubam Tasya Yasatri Sandhyam Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitina Mine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitina Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Patsatarishatarine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Patsatarishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Chaitanya Chaitanya Nityananda Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Nityananda Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hariyaraye Namah Krishna Jadavaye Namah Jadavaye Madhavaya Kesavaye Namah Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudam Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rupa Sanatan Vataraguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasaraguna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhav, Radha Nila Madhav Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama, Jaya Sudarshan Chakra. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Pramanande Haribo. Jaya Vishnu Paramansa Prabhupada Kashari, Ashtottara Sarasi Srimad Divine Grace. Abhay Karamna Bhakti Vedanta Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Pratishta Bhiviti Samstapakachara Vaishnava Shromani Gaura Priyajana Krishna Prema Bhakti Data Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Gauriya Guru Varga Patita Udhari ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhattara Gunata Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Guna Sadguru Swami Prabhu ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ji ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसरि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय. जय परम दयाल से नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय. प्रेम नाम संकीर्तन एक जनक प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम श्री सच्चिनंदन श्रीमन गौरांग चैतन्य महाप्रभु गौर हरि मावरण अवतार की जय. गोलोकेर प्रमधान हरि नाम संकीर्तन जय की जय. जोग धर्म हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय. प्रियंग ट्रेंस नैतुल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेवा की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपना राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय. श्री ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन मथुर नाम की जय. तेलो शिव श्री शिवानंद माधव की जय. श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप एक चक्र धाम की जय. परम करुण श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय. श्री पुरुषोत्तम केत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय. श्री श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी बलदेव प्रभु स्मस्वद्र देवी सुदर्शन चक्र भगवान की जय. भक्ति सर्व विघ्न विनाशन कर सिंगरे भगवान की जय. जगंगा माय जमुना माय की जय. तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी भक्ति देवी की जय. श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय. समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय. निताय गौर हरि प्रमानंदे हरि बोल. All glory to the somebody bodies. All glory to the somebody bodies. All glory to the somebody bodies. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Hiranyakashipu Nilatangkala kalai Ito nisingo Parato nisingo Jato jato jami tato nisingo Bair nisingo Hrudaye nisingo Narasingha Madim Sharanam Prapade Tabakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adabutta Singha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanabinga Kesavadita Naravirupa Jai Jagadi Sare Jai Jagadi Sare Jai Jagadi Sare Tavakara Kamala Vare Jai Jagadisa Kesavadruta Naravirupa Jai Jagadisa Jai Jagadisa Jai Jagadisa Kesavadruta Naravirupa Jai Jagadisa Jai Jagadisa Jai Jagadisa Jaya Nishingade Jaya Nishingade Nishingade Jaya Nishingade Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Jaya Bhakta Pranaya Nitai Gaurari जय श्री भक्ति पद सर्वविघ्नाशना कर सिंगरे भगवान की जय जय भक्त श्रेष्ठ प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन जगह की जय निताय गौरारी प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल Shri Vrindai Tulasi Devi Priya Kesava Satya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satavataye Namah. Vrindai Tulasi Devi Priya Kesava Satya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satavataye Namah. Vrindayai Tulasi Devai Priyayai Kesava Satya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satavataye Namah. Jai Shrimati Tulasi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai.
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी
Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha.
राधा कृष्णा सेवा पावो अभिलाषी
Radha Krishna Seva Prabhu Eya Vilasi.
राधा कृष्णा सेवा पावो अभिलाषी
Radha Krishna Seva Prabhu Eya Vilasi.
जितो मारा शरण लो तारा वंच पूरा न हो
Tomar Sharanana Taravancha Puna.
कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी
Tumi kripa pare karatare Vrindavanavasi.
मोराए अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास
Morae Vilas Kunja Diyava.
नयने हरि वो सदा जुगल रूपरासी
Aminayane Vivo Sada Jugala Ruparasi.
निवेदाना धारो साखीरनु गाता कोरो
Eni Vedanadhara Sakirayana Datakara.
सेवा अधिकारा दिए कोरो निज दासी
Sevayadikara Diye करो निज दासी।
दीना कृष्ण दासी गोए न मोरा होए।
दीन कृष्ण दास कोई न मोरा।
श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी।
श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदा ये न भासी।
श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी।
श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदा ये न भासी।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी। नमो नमः
तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी। नमो नमः।
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च पानि पानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे।
तानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि
प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे। यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे।
तानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे।
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे।
तानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
राम हरे हरे। जया तुलसी महारानी जया तुलसी महारानी जया तुलसी महारानी जया तुलसी महारानी।
Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani.
जया वृंदा देवी जया वृंदा देवी जया वृंदा देवी जया वृंदा देवी।
Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi.
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। नित्य गौरा हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की
Jai. Shri Vrindai Tulasi Devai Priyai Kesava Satya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satavataye Namah. Vrindayai Tulasi Devai Priyai Kesava Satya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satavataye Namah. Vrindayai Tulasi Devai Priyai Kesava Satya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satavataye Namah. Jai Shrimati Tulasi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Jai. Mighty Jai for tender service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter from his wishes fulfilled, bestow your mercy upon him, making resident of Vrindavan. Mighty Jai, they also grant me a residence for your groves of Shri Vrindavan Dham. Thus within my vision of all the good years of our sons Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower of the ideas of Raj. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own net servant. This very fallen and lowly servant Krishna praise. May I always sing love to Shri Radha and Govinda. Shri Mati Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Chikhyastakam Ki Jai. Chito Darpanamajanam Bhavamada Bhagni Devapanam Shri Akari Vachandrika Vitaranam Vidya Badhu Jivanam Anandam Bodhivardhanam Pariparam Purnamata Shradanam Sarvatmasnam Param Param Vijayati Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Namnamakari Vaudha Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Shmarane Nakala Ita Drishitava Paya Bhagavan Mamapi Durdhaivam Idrishamya Jani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnana Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nathanam Najanam Asundari Kavitam Rajagadishakamaye Mama Janmane Janmanishwari Bhavatar Bhakti Rahaitu Ki Tvai Ainandatanu Jakinkaram Paritama Vishame Bhava Buddho Kripaya Tavapad Pankaja Itaduri Sarisham Vichindaya Nayanam Galavara Shudharya Padanam Galavara Gira Tulakai Chitam Bapukada Kavanam Hare Bhavisati Yuga Itam Nimishena Chakusha Prabhusaritam Shunyaritam Jagadasarvam Govinda Verahe Name Asrishabhapada Champinastumam Adarshanam Manmahatam Karotuva Jatatatava Vidadakulam Padu Mahatanastastu Saivamaka Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shri Krishna Ki Jai. Namo Varannaya Krishna Prema Pradayati Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Tishe Namaha. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan moment is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we're always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Once you chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself Lord on straw in the street, one should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer respect to others. In such state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your cause, the devotional service, birth to birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yes, somehow or other I have fallen in this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And will the hairs of my body stand on the end of the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he should remain so, even if he handles me rightfully by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Kam Ki Jai. Namo Mahabharannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Tishe Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna. There are 10 offenses in matter of chanting the holy name of the Lord that should be avoided. They are as follows. 1. Blaspheme the devotees who dedicate their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider names that demigods of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of them, Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literatures and pursuits of Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name of the Lord. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity, karma kanda. 9. To instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name. And 10. To not have complete faith in chanting the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must carefully guard against 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees that can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. One should Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vaishnava Thakuri Ki Jai Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanami Namaste Saraswati Devi Guru Vani Patarani Nivesesa Sanyori Paskatis. Shri Guru Pranama prayers Ki Jai Om Aganya Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Nimilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Jataha Pachakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha
Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Ragunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Saidvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaguna Lalita Shri Vishakar Nivitam Sa Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Saraswati Namine Namaste Guru Bhakti Eve Guruvani Sesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Nama Om Stupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamini Shivasavanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyana Dayane Prabhave Namahara Madhur Ujvala Primadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktita Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Abhisidanta Dvantatarine Namo Gorakishoraya Shakshadvairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachitanandanamine Gorashakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Baba Bhumestvam Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhoma Sri Jagannathayate Namaha Vanchakalpa Turabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gorachase Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakam Namami Bhaktakam Saktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Jayatam Suratur Bhangur Mama Mandamatir Gati Matsarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vindaranya Kalpajumadaha Shimad Ratnagara Simhasanastito Shimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prastali Bihi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasaram Vivam Sivata Tatastita Karsan Venusmaner Gopir Gopinatak Striyestana Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavanishwade Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamahim Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Srivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Brahmasmita Ki Jai Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Nadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Riksha Laksha Britesa Surabhira Vipalyantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevyamanam Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Venam Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barhavatam Samasatam Buddhasudarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesa Sobam Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandrakala Sadvanamayavam Siratnam Gadam Pranayakeli Kalaviles Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Gani Yasya Sakalendriya Rittimante Pasyanti Panti Kalyanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadujwala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purisham Navayuvanam Cha Vedesa Durlabham Durlabham Atma Bhakto Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastakoti Satavasaram Samprakamyo Vayoratapi Manasomuni Pungamanam Sopyasti Atprabhadasimya Vichintyatatve Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Sora Chayatam Jagananda Kotim Yas Chaktirasti Jagananda Chaya Yadanta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manajasta Taiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayanabusa Suktarya Mevinigama Pratitaistuvanti Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasatpati Bhavita Bistabirya Evani Jirupataya Kalabi Goloka Evani Visata Kilapa Bhuto Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santak Sadeva Hidesa Vilokayanti Yam Sham Sundarama Chintya Gunaswarupa Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Sukalani Menitistan Nanavatarama Road Bhuvanesa Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramam Pumamyo Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagranda Koti Kotisva Sesa Vasudadi Vibhuti Benam Tad Brahma Niskalam Anantama Sesa Bhutam Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami Mayahi Yasya Jagranda Satani Sute Jai Gunyatad Vishaya Veda Vitaya Manam Sattva Vulambi Parasapam Visuddha Sattvam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmayara Satmataya Manasuya Praninam Patifulam Sparatamu Petya Lila Ritena Burvanani Jaya Jayasram Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Goloka Namni Nijitamni Tale Chitasya Devi Mahesu Aditama Sate Sute Sute Prabhavani Jaya Vitasya Yena Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Shastista Tipalaya Sadhava Sakti Reka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Chanarupam Abhyasya Chachesta Tesa Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Shiram Yata Dadi Vikara Vises Yoga Sanjaya Tena Itata Pritakasti Hetu Yasambhutama Pitata Samapaitikaya Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Departure Devi Dasamtaram Abhyupetya Dipayate Vita Hetu Samana Dharma Yastadri Gevich Vishnu Tayavibhati Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yaskarna Narla Vajale Bhajatisma Yoga Nidram Ananta Jagadanda Saroma Kupa Adhara Saktim Avalambya Param Samurtim Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yasyaika Nisvasita Kalamatavalamya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadanda Nata Vishnu Mahansa Yasyakala Abhiseso Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Basmanya Tasma Sakalesha Jesu Teja Sriyam Kiyat Pakatayat Pitadvradatra Brahmaya Isa Jagadanda Vidanu Karta Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yat Pada Palava Yugam Vinidaya Kumbadwande Pranama Samayesa Ganadi Raja Vignan Vinantum Alamasya Jagatrayasya Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Agnir Mahiga Ganamam Bhumuruddhisasya Kala Tatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Visanti Yamcha Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yaschaksuresa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Saramurti Rasesa Teja Yasya Gaya Brahmati Sambrita Kala Chakro Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmota Papa Nichaya Sutayastapam Se Brahmadi Kita Patagabati Yastajiva Yadata Mata Vibhava Prakata Prabhava Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yastrendra Gopa Matavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhan Rupa Falabhajana Mutamoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Chabakti Bhajam Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajam Yam Kroda Kama Sahaja Pranayati Biti Vatsalya Moha Guru Guru Vasevya Bhava Sanchintya Tasya Sadvisintaram Apurete Govinda Mahadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purisha Kalpataravo Drumabu Mishchintamani Ganama Itoyam Amritam Kataganam Natyam Gamanam Apivam Sipriyasaki Chidanandam Jyoti Param Apitada Swadhyam Apichasa Yatra Shiradi Bihishavadeshurabhi Vyastya Sumaya Timesa Dakya Vavra Jitina Hiyatra Bisamaya Bhaje Swita Dibham Tamaham Ihagolakamityam Vitantas Te Santakshiti Viralakshara Katipaya Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Nadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Garana Shri Guru Vastaka Prayers Kiche. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy, just as a cloud pours water on the forest fire to extinguish it. So the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. Are from my respectful base unto Lotus Street is such spiritual master, chanting the holy name, dancing, actually singing, playing musical instruments. The spiritual master is always guided by the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he is relishing the mellows of pure devotion with his mind, sometimes his hair stands on end, he feels quivering in his body, and tears flow from his eyes like waves. Are from my respectful base unto Lotus Street is such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is always engaged in a temple where Sri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. They dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. Are from my respectful basis unto Lotus Street is such a spiritual master. Spiritual master is always offering Krishna 4 kinds of delicious food, analyzes that which is licked, chewed, drunk, and sucked. When the spiritual master sees that the devotees are satisfied by eating Bhagavat Prasada, he is satisfied. Off my respectful basis unto Lotus Street is such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is always eager to hear and chant about the unlimited conscious compassion of Radhika and Madhava and their qualities, names, and forms. The spiritual master aspires to relish these at every moment. Of my respectful basis unto Lotus Street is such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is very dear because he is expert in assisting gopis who at different times make different tasteful arrangements for the perfection of Radha and Krishna's conjugal loving affairs within the groves of Vrindavan. For my most humble basis unto Lotus Street is such a spiritual master. Spiritual master to be honored as much as Supreme Lord because he is the most competential servant to the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore, I offer my respectful basis unto Lotus Street as such spiritual master is an ocean of auspicious qualities. Chanting by the mercy of spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful basis unto Lotus Street of my spiritual master. His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 3, Chapter 2, verse number 23. Aho Bhakti Yam Stanakala Kutam Jikhamsaya payayat api asadvi. Lebe gatim dat uchitam tatonyam. Kamva dayalum saranam vrajema. Aho, alas, Baki, the she-demon Putana, Yam, whom, Stana, of her breast, Kala, deadly, Kutam, poison, Jigam Saya, out of envy, Apayayat, nourished, Api, although, Asadvi, unfaithful, Lebe, achieved, Gatim, destination, Datri Uchitam, just suitable for the nurse, Tata, beyond whom, Anyam, other, Kam, who else, Va, certainly, Dayalam, merciful, Sharanam, shelter, Rajema, shall I take. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he, who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Here is an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord, even to his enemy. It is said that a noble man accepts the good qualities of a person of doubtful character, just as one accepts nectar from a stalk of poison. In his babyhood, he was administered deadly poison by Putana, a she-demon who tried to kill the wonderful baby, and because she was a demon, it was impossible for her to know that the Supreme Lord, even though playing the part of a baby, was no one less than the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. His value as the Supreme Lord did not diminish upon his becoming a baby to please his devotee Yasoda. The Lord may assume the form of a baby or a shape other than that of a human being, but it doesn't make the slightest difference. He is always the same Supreme. A living creature, however powerful he may become by dint of severe penance, can never become equal to the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Putana because she pretended to be an affectionate mother, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. That is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be the ultimate shelter? Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he, who granted the position of mother to the she-demon Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast? Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, in this chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, we're hearing a lot of examples of the extreme mercy of the Lord. Only the Lord can be merciful like this. If we have an enemy, we don't feel very merciful toward them. But the Lord, even seeing a slight attempt to serve him, will accept that, even though it's from a person that's very low character, and he will reward such a person. So just the idea that Putana wanted to act like the mother of Krishna, even though she put poison on her breast, and she wanted to kill Krishna in order to please Kamsa, still Krishna accepted the fact that she wanted to let him suckle her breast as a mother toward a child. And, of course, he sucked out her soul from the body, basically killing her. But she attained a type of liberation. And just like also Sisupala, who hated Krishna and was trying to always compete with him. When you hate someone, you always try and compete with them and do better than them. That's a sign of a demon. And also, Sisupala insulted Krishna in a public forum at the Rajasuya sacrifice of King of Yudhisthira. And so, what happened, Sisupala was killed by Krishna, but everyone saw that the soul of Sisupala entered into the body of Krishna. And that's a type of merging. There's two types of merging. Either you merge into the Brahmajyoti, the light emanating from the body of Krishna, or you merge into the body of Krishna. The two types of merging, or impersonal, attaining impersonal realization. So he's awarding impersonal realization, or Brahman realization, to demons, whereas the Mayavadi philosophers and followers of Sankaracharya, they endeavor for sometimes very long lifetimes and very many lifetimes to attain the same thing. And Krishna easily gives it to the demons who come in contact with him. Also, we heard in this chapter about the warriors on the side of Duryodhana. Those warriors, when they actually saw Krishna on the battlefield, they were attracted to his beauty. And that was the awakening of Krishna consciousness for them, that attraction to the Lord, although they were enemy fighters. And they, when they were killed by Krishna, they attained Brahman realization. Whereas Duryodhana, he was not attracted to the beauty of Krishna at all. Therefore, what did he see? He saw as death. He was not able to have the same liberation as the warriors, the common soldiers that were fighting on his side. So Krishna will always try and help someone, even if they approach him with a negative, let's say, agenda, like Duryodhana or Sisupala or Jarasandha, all these demons. But still, Krishna rewards them with liberation. However, there are different grades of liberation. So the warriors the warriors on the battlefield, when they were attracted by the beauty of Krishna, they did not attain Brahman realization. They went to Vaikuntha because there was an awakening of affection for the Lord, or attraction to the Lord. So we see there's different levels of realization of the Lord. And in this chapter, we're hearing many examples of the extreme mercy of Krishna. So then also it says that Krishna, he is always in Eka rasa. Eka rasa means regardless of the form that he takes. It could be as Narayana, it could be as the Vishnu Murtis, it could be incarnations like Matsya or Varuna, etc. He always has his power, the same absolute power as he has in his original form. So that's called Eka rasa. He's always in the same rasa or same humor, whether he's in the body of Nrsingadev or Matsya fish or Kurma or whatever form that he takes, he has absolute power. So even when he appears as a baby, he still has that absolute power. Therefore, he was able to kill the demon Sankasura and Putana when he was still either a baby or a toddler. Okay, so, and Prabhupada says in the purport, here's an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord, even to his enemy. it is said that a noble man accepts the good qualities of a person of doubtful character, just as one accepts nectar from a stalk of poison. So, accepting nectar from a stalk of poison, that is, whenever a devotee sees truth, and what is truth? Anything that has been spoken or exampled by Krishna, even if it's in a dirty place or even if it's manifested by a low-class person, he accepts it. See? So, for example, there was one devotee who had a weakness. The weakness is that he was seeing a prostitute. But the prostitute, after seeing all the effort he made to come and see her on a very, very bad, stormy night, it was life-threatening. And she said, if you used even a small portion of the determination that you used tonight to come and see me in order to see Krishna, you would become a pure devotee. And it shocked him. And she spoke the truth. And she became his guru, in a sense, because he accepted that instruction from her, and it aroused his natural attraction to Krishna by her words. And she told him, look, if you just had a portion of the determination you had tonight to come and see me and brave all these very extreme weather conditions that are life-threatening, you would be a pure devotee. And he took that to heart, and he accepted her. Her name was Chintamani. He accepted her as his guru. And there's 3 levels of guru. There's Vartmana Pradakshika Guru, there's Shiksha Guru, and there's Diksha Guru. So she became his Vartmana Pradakshika Guru, and also Shiksha Guru. She introduced him to Krishna, and she instructed him in Krishna consciousness. So, the Lord has this extreme mercy, and devotees of the Lord also have mercy for the people floundering in the material world. And actually it said that when the devotee sees the misery that people are suffering in the material world, he feels compassion, and he offers to, in any way, to help them by his extreme mercifulness. So we also do that, not to the same degree as Krishna, but we also, when we see people suffering, we try to help them. Now, when you see a person holding a sign at a red light saying, Vietnam vet, anything helps, thank you, God bless you, whatever. If you give him $5, you have not actually helped him. Because if he takes that $5 and buys a bottle of beer or gets a beef jerky or something, you get 1/6 to the karmic reaction. However, if you give that person Mahaprasadam, as we do, like oftentimes when we're coming back from Sankirtan, we might keep 1 or 2 burritos, and if we see someone begging on the street, usually near red lights or the entrance to the I-5, we stop and give them a burrito. And they appreciate it. They take it every time. Sometimes they say, what? No burrito today? Sometimes we distribute all the burritos. We don't have anything left. So the devotee will always try and do something to help people that are suffering. Okay, so so another point made in this purport today is that a living creature, however powerful he may become, by dint of severe penance, can never become equal to the Supreme Lord. So the example is Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, and many other demons who underwent severe austerity, like, for example, Rikasura. Rikasura performed a very extreme type of tapasya. he wanted to see Lord Vishnu to get a benediction from him. And so he started a fire sacrifice, and he was offering different things, but the Lord was not appearing. Actually, he wanted to see Brahma, I'm sorry. He was offering different things in the fire. Nothing was happening. So he cut off one of his arms with a knife and took that arm with the other arm, and he threw it into the fire. And still nothing happened. So then he cut off an ear. He cut off his nose. He cut off part of his leg. Still nothing. So then he put the knife to his neck, and he said, "You have to appear," and he, just as he was about to cut off his neck so it could roll into the fire, Lord Brahma came and said, "Stop! Stop this horrible sacrifice in my name. What do you want?" So Rikasura said, "I want that power in my finger, my index finger, that whoever I touch that finger to, their head will blow up into 1,000 pieces." So Brahma regretted saying, "Whatever you want, I'll give you," but he gave him that benediction. So now Rikasura had that benediction. Actually, no, it was Lord Shiva that did this. And then what he tried to do was touch the head of Lord Shiva because he wanted to have his wife. And Lord Shiva started running, panicked like anything. And so who helped Lord Shiva? It was Lord Krishna himself that helped him. And as he ran past Lord Krishna, and then Rikasura was coming behind him with his finger like this, trying to touch his head. And Krishna said, "My dear Rikasura, you might have a heart attack if you run so fast. And by the way, why are you running?" So Rikasura stopped for a minute and said, "Well, I want to touch the head of Shiva with my finger so it blows up into 1,000 pieces. He gave me this blessing." And he said, "Oh, do you believe that? He's such a liar. Don't you know that?" He said, "What?" So he put a doubt in his mind. See, that's how you get people to stop. He put a doubt in his mind, and the Lord says, "How do you know it's going to work? He's such a liar. He's always cheating everyone." He said, "Well, I'm not sure." He said, "Why don't you just touch your head right now and see what happens?" Well, Rikasura did touch his head, and it blew up into 1,000 pieces. So he saved Lord Shiva. So these are pastimes of the Lord. We should hear the pastimes of the Lord. Now you might say, "Well, that sounds like that's a made-up story. I don't believe that." Well, that would be your misfortune, because if it's in the Bhagavatam and it was written by Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva is not going to waste your time with made-up stories. The whole Bhagavatam is about Krishna, and this is an actual pastime of Krishna. So therefore, we should be hearing these pastimes and believing them. That way we make spiritual advancement. Okay, so then it says, Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Putana because she pretended to be an affectionate mother, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. That is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be the ultimate shelter? So, these are things that we should believe. Just like the scientists say, you should believe that everything started with a big bang. Well, that's not true. But when we hear about Krishna and his extreme mercy, that's something we should believe, because that's something that can help us. Because we all need the mercy of Krishna. Why? Because we cannot attain perfection of life simply by mechanical chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or simply by taking prasadam. Although both of these things are very beneficial, but yet, to attain realization of Krishna, we have to pass the test of Krishna. So he will test whether we are just mechanically chanting or just mechanically eating prasadam. And what is Krishna looking for? Well, he explains that in Bhagavad Gita. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tesam satata yuktanam vajatam pritipurvakam tatami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayantite. And he says, those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding verse. So that's what Krishna is looking for, love and affection from the devotee. But wait a minute, that's what everyone is looking for, love and affection from somebody. Say, just like two people are together and one says to the other, you know, I really love you. Well, that statement doesn't prove that they love someone. It's an indication that maybe it's true, but what is it that will prove that they actually are sincere about their love? If they serve the other person. See? So just like you might have one friend who says, you know, my friend, I love you. You say, oh, okay, thank you very much. Then one day you say, you know, I'm in difficulty. Can you loan me some money? He said, oh, well, you know, I'm a little bit tight right now. I can't do it. So another time you say, you know, my car, the battery died. Can you help me jump the battery? And he said, oh, you know, I don't have any battery jumpers. And then every time you ask him to help you, he says no, right? So now, what would you surmise from that? What would be your conclusion after many no's? Does he love you or does he not love you? You see. So it's the same with Krishna. If we say, oh, Krishna, I love you, I love you, I love you, but you do nothing for Krishna, then there's no love, right? Love is going to be manifested by service. So devotional service is the manifestation of love for Krishna. Now you can say, well, what if I'm doing it only because I want something from Krishna? Well, then it's not devotional. Devotion means it's sincere. You're willing to sacrifice everything to serve the Lord. What if you say, well, I'm not going to sacrifice everything. I'm not going to sacrifice my tea. I'm not going to sacrifice my television. But I'll do some things. Well, that's not pure devotion. So we have to pass the test of Krishna. He's going to test us, just like he tested Arjuna. You know, Arjuna refuses to fight, but Krishna gives him a chance. He said, look, I'm willing to answer all your questions and all your hesitation so that you can follow my order. Well, Arjuna correctly accepts Krishna as his guru and then starts asking him all kinds of questions to clear away his doubts. And Krishna is able to answer each question thoroughly. That's what the Bhagavad Gita is about. It's questions and answers. And therefore, near the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, he said, now do you understand? And are you ready to surrender and fight? So Arjuna, but then Krishna says, if you don't understand, then I'm willing to explain everything to you again, a second time, so that you can understand. Let me see where he says that. He says that and it's near the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, I'll find it later on. So, Krishna is willing to go to the extreme point to help anyone who has an interest in him. And he wants to do everything possible to help his devotees come back to Godhead. Okay, so then,
So
if,
that's,
yeah.
1872 month.
What?
18.7.
Oh, it's 1872. Okay, let me see where that. I knew it was at the end, near the end, but I didn't go far enough to the end. Yeah, O son of Prita, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? No, but he actually says that he will explain it again.
It's in the purport.
That's in the purport. If not, the Lord was ready to re-explain any point. Okay, yeah. Or the whole Bhagavad Gita, if so required. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. So we see that Krishna will go to any length to help his devotee, or help anyone that's interested in him. Or even if they approach him with hatred, he will try and find some good quality in that person and help them. So this is exceptional. We can't imitate Krishna, but we can follow the principle. The principle is that we should try and help everyone. We shouldn't have any prejudice against anyone, even an enemy. And this is the defining quality of a devotee, that the devotee will go to any length to help others make spiritual advancement. Okay, so when a devotee does make this attempt to help others, he becomes as merciful or even more merciful than the Lord. How is that possible? Well, the Lord also says in the 18th chapter, he says that that there are some people that cannot or will not understand. He says, idam te natapaskaya nabhaktaya kadachana nachasrusru save vachyam na chamam yo yasuyati. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Wow, he says that, right? And the purport, he says, persons who have not undergone the austerities of the religious process, who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended to a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality, or who are envious of the greatness of Krishna, should not be told this most confidential part of knowledge. It is, however, sometimes found that even demoniac persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way to make business. These are the Bhagavat Sapta people and bogus gurus, so-called gurus, who reject teaching from Shastra and just make up things, their own Shastra, right? So they take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way to make business. But anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Actually, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not understandable to those who are sensuous, in other words, who are addicted to sense gratification. Even if one is not sensuous, but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the Vedic scripture, if he is not a devotee, he also cannot understand Krishna. Wow, that's a big statement. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna, but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. There are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him. There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so that's a pretty severe statement made by Prabhupada and Krishna himself, but yet there is a saving grace. And let me find where that is. In the so, again in the 18th chapter, it says, in the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. Okay, we just read that 67th verse of the 18th chapter. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class, and in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men, or many people, who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Okay? But then again, in another place, in Bhagavad Gita, it says, in the third chapter, verse number 29, it says, men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord. What is the purpose of the Lord? He wants everyone to come back, because we are all his parts and parcels. He wants everyone to come back to his spiritual world. Consequently, such devotees undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. So here it says, the devotees are more kind than the Lord because they understand the purpose of the Lord. So, Krishna's extreme mercy, even to demons, is something that the devotees will also take a chance to help even demons. So this is amazing information about Krishna. Okay, so then there's a very important point in the first canto, 7th chapter, verse number 5. And it says, Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum bonum remedy for suffering humanity in the clutches of Maya. Srila Vyasadeva, therefore, first of all, diagnosed the actual disease of the conditioned souls. That is, their being illusioned by the eternal external energy, or Maya. There's you can look this up right now on the internet. Some scientists believe that we are all in a state of illusion in this world. See if you can find that. Scientists believe, there are some scientists that believe that everyone's in a state of illusion in this world. So here it says, Srila Vyasadeva, therefore, first of all, diagnose the actual disease of the conditioned souls. That is, they're being illusioned by the external energy. He also saw the perfect Supreme Being, from whom illusory energy is far removed, though he saw both the diseased conditioned souls and also the cause of the disease. And the remedial measures are suggested in the next verse. Both the Supreme Personality Godhead and the living beings are undoubtedly qualitatively one, but the Lord is the controller of the illusory energy. Did you find something?
There are a number of references. So there's some PDF.
Speak louder.
So there is a PDF or the document that says that the scientific proof that everything is. Sorry, that's random. Why some scientists think that science is an illusion?
Okay.
So
that's a big thing right there.
So even the scientists.
Science is an illusion, which is true, by the way. Okay, go ahead.
And then everything is energy and reality isn't real. That's one article written. And then
everything is energy and reality is not real. Well, that's Mayavad philosophy.
And
saying that everything is energy. So everything is Brahman. Sarvam Klav Idam Brahma. This is in Vedanta. I think it's, I'm not. Oh no, this was a statement made. Well, let me see. Well, I'll just hold back on saying that. But this is a statement that the Mayavadis use. Sarvam Klav Idam Brahma, which means that everything is Brahman, energy. And everything you see, personalities, people, bodies, material world, spiritual world, planets, spiritual planets, that's all illusion. It's not real. Everything is just energy, which is Brahman. The light, and the light is emanating from the body of Krishna, that they don't accept either. They don't accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality Godhead. They say when Krishna appears in the material world, it's with a material body, and which is only energy, right? So that's their interpretation of Sarvam Klav Idam Brahma. But see, that's why I'm going to read the rest of this purport, because the real meaning of that Vedic statement, Sarvam Klav Idam Brahma, is different than the Mayavadi's false explanation of it. You found something else?
So there is another one that says scientists think death doesn't exist.
That what?
Death doesn't exist.
Oh, death doesn't exist. Okay.
And it's an illusion of our consciousness.
What happens when they die?
So that's another article.
Nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, reality is.
Well, no. See, they don't accept the existence of the soul.
Yeah.
But yet they say death doesn't exist. That's nonsense. Death doesn't exist. Yes, that's true. If you understand it, you have an eternal soul. But the body definitely dies. So how can they say death doesn't exist? What's the background of that statement? Let's hear what they say.
Yeah, so this is last year, July 31st, this article was written. So when it comes to the mysteries of our universe and human life, the biggest mystery that many are curious but also clueless about is death.
Okay, let me guess what they're going to say, all right? They're going to say that a person doesn't really die because all the atoms and molecules in his body dissipate into the universe. And over a long period of time, they will come back again together. This is the theory of that nonsense Indian so-called philosopher. I always forget the names of the demons. He's very famous. He's lecturing all over the place, speaking nonsense. Anyway, he has written that you don't really die. It's just that your all the atoms of your body dissipate into the universe, and eventually in the future, through infinite numbers of combination and permutations, they'll come back together. So you haven't really died. All right? So let's see if that's what they're going to say.
So this says
Yeah,
No,
Deepak
but-
Chopra. Deepak Chopra.
Deepak Chopra.
Yeah. Another big nonsense.
So here, religions have called death the only truth and afterlife as the gift or curse that we get depending on our conduct on this planet. But none of this has been proven. No one really knows what lies ahead.
That's a false statement, but go ahead.
However, one American medical doctor and scientist, Robert Lanza, in his book Biocentrism, states that death could actually be a door to endless number of universes. So there is a biocentrism is a new philosophy, it looks like. Philosophy.
Philosophy.
He calls phenomenon biocentrism a mechanism of sorts that results in all physical possibilities. Biocentrism also emphasizes the fact that it is not the universe that has created humans, but it is actually us who have given birth to the universe as we know it.
That's about a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Keep going.
In a conversation with Huffington Post, Lanza revealed that biocentrism tells that time and space are just tools in our minds used to weave information together into
Wait a minute. You're mumbling your words. Say that again.
So in a conversation, Lanza revealed that biocentrism tells that
Wait a minute. I don't think you're pronouncing the word right. It's bio what?
centrism.
Centrism.
Yeah.
Centrism.
Yeah, biocentrism
Okay, go ahead.
tells that space and time are just tools that our minds use to weave information.
Do what?
We weave together information.
Weave?
Yeah.
W-E-A-V.
Yeah. So it's like kind of
Weave information.
weave
like
information.
Tie it all together.
tie it all together into a comprehensive experience like a language for consciousness. He firmly believes in the many worlds theory and states that death doesn't exist in these scenarios since all of these possibilities are taking place at the same time, and the only reason we feel alive is because of the energy operating in our brains. Death is like finishing a TV series in the universe's streaming platform.
This is all made up mumbo jumbo. And people might even believe it, because it sounds like he's a rational person. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But keep going. Read a little bit more. Let's see.
So, in a casual example, he calls death like finishing a good TV series. You can experience different stories, different characters, and of course different endings from the vast library that the universe holds, and at the end of them all, it's still you. According to him, it's just the energy, and as per the laws of physics, energy can neither be created or destroyed. It just shifts from one state to another.
Okay, so he's basing his whole theory on the principle of conservation of energy. But he doesn't say, he doesn't say clearly that you are a unique person.
No,
He's sort of implying that, but he doesn't say, how can you be conscious of something unless you're a person? So, but he's saying everything is energy. Energy is not a person. It emanates from a person, but it's not a person.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like he is distinguishing between the spiritual energy and the, which
No.
is the giving the consciousness versus the material energy.
Yeah. It's all hodgepodge.
Yeah, I think the next one probably is, so when we die, there is a break in our linear connection of times and places. And
Of what? Of times and places?
yeah, he says when we die, there is a break in our linear connection of times and places.
Okay, so linear means there's past, present, and future. So when you die, you lose the concept of past, present, and future. Okay, go ahead.
And strangely, he says our linear concept of time means nothing to nature.
Okay. But what does mean something to nature?
So it goes to on the concept of death, and like many other concepts that we have come across, it isn't absolute. Again, they come to the point that it's also
Okay,
not
so
certain.
everything is relative. That's another atheistic point of view. Everything is relative. There's no absolutes. That means there's no God who has absolute knowledge and absolute existence.
So I think this last statement is the one that again summarizes the only way we will ever experience the truth is when our time is up.
When our time is up,
Oh.
I thought there was no death.
Just completely. So it is best to live our life.
See, that's the whole point. While you still have this body, there's no death, there's no, God, there's no eternal soul. So therefore, while you're in this body, have as much sense gratification as you can. You see, he came to that point from a different angle of vision, but it's the same point, sense gratification. Okay, read it.
Yeah. So that's so it's best to live our life the best way we can for ourselves and for others until someone reaches the series finale.
Reaches what?
The series means like it's like a TV series.
Oh, okay. Everything's a movie.
Yeah.
It's all an illusion.
Yeah.
Therefore, you should play.
Play and then until it reaches the end.
Yeah. See, this is complete nonsense. You understand? We've been talking about this. There's no eternal soul. There's no God. There's no after death. There's nothing. But he's saying there might be something.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, put it all together, it's still an illusion. Right.
It says like it's a drama going on. You just
Yeah, it's a drama. So you play. You play the drama. And these people are misleading. Young kids will read this and they might believe it. That's why it's important that the children are trained in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise, they're going to be attracted by all this nonsense, mumbo jumbo, mixing language and making up the false theories. And this is going on every year, every day. More and more theories are being proposed by so-called philosophers or scientists, and it just confuses people. Okay, so are there any questions? See, that was good that you found that. Send that to me. I wanna.
Yeah, I think. In the end, they're all trying to avoid, as you said, 2 or 3 things, and justify sense gratification.
Yeah,
In
it
the
all
end,
leads to sense gratification.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's a Mayavadi.
Mm.
He might not know he is, but he is a Mayavadi. And this is what Mayavad philosophy does. It basically emphasizes sense gratification. By saying that the material world is false, it doesn't really exist, then you can do whatever you want, right? Because it's an illusion. That's what he's saying too. So play the illusion. Take advantage of the illusion and play. Because there's no law of karma. There's no God. There's just energy. So you can play with the energy. It's like Play-Doh, right? You can buy some Play-Doh and make it into anything you want. See? These are very irresponsible people. Very, very irresponsible. And it's demoniac philosophy.
Yes.
Any other questions? Mr. Gopal Krishna, Haribol.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Haribol, Prabhu.
My question is, what does illusion mean?
Okay. Illusion means you see something, but you don't really understand what it is. And like, for example, when you're driving a car and on a very hot day and it's an asphalt road, it's usually asphalt is black, right? and in the distance you see there's water. That's called a mirage, something false. You see it, it looks like water, but when you progress on the road, you see there's no water. So what you were seeing was a mirage. It was a mirage means it's a optical illusion due to a very hot sun on the asphalt, and it creates an illusory vision of water, but actually there's no water there. So you see something, but by a trick of nature, it doesn't actually exist. Like, for example, you can be in a desert and you're very thirsty, but in the distance you see water. That's, again, it's an optical illusion due to the heat on the sand, right? And it looks like it's water, but you can never reach it because you keep walking and walking, and it always is farther away, and then you'll die. So an illusion is something that is false, but you because of your imperfect senses, you see it as being real. Right? Like, for example, Elon Musk advertised that in a few years he's going to send a rocket ship to Mars, and he needs volunteers to take the trip, and it's a one-way trip. You know how many people signed up for that trip? Guess. Yes. No. You're not even close. 150,000 people signed up. 150,000 to sign up to take a one-way trip. That means you're not coming back and you're going to die for sure, right? And it's going to send you to Mars so that you can send back information of what's going on there. Why? Because every time they send a robot to Mars or the moon, they don't really get much information back. Like, for example, if the people on Mars send a robot to the Earth and it lands in the Arabian desert, what would they understand about what's going on in the Earth? Nothing, right? They'd say, oh, it's just a desert, there's no water, so let's not go there. Let's go to some other planet. See, if it lands in New York City, then there's a lot there, let's go there. But in the same way, they're sending these robots to the moon and to Mars, but they don't really discover anything. So then George Bush, when he was president, he said, we're going to have to send people to Mars to really find out what's going on there. Because they're not really finding out much by sending robots. They find out something, but they're not sure if it's real or not. So an illusion is something you think is real, but it's not. And it's because you haven't heard correctly or you're not seeing correctly. So without learning Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, you can become a victim of many illusory things that you don't see correctly or you don't hear correctly or you misinterpret. And if you begin to believe it, then you act in a state of delusion. When you act on an illusory idea, you're in a delusional state. Just like Trump thought he would win the presidency the second time because of a strong economy. And the economy collapsed, Trump lost. Right? So his idea that economic development will make this country great again, and that's the wrong principle. It's wrong. It's an illusion, that idea. Economic development will not make the country great again. What will make the country, or the other thing, just like crazy Joe Biden, he believes that if we get rid of all guns, then there will not be any more mass murders. That's not a fact either. And the proof is, in England, you can't get a gun. It's very difficult to get a gun in England. But yet, people use knives, they use poison, and they use other things to kill a lot of people. They use bombs. You know, are you gonna outlaw knives? Are you gonna outlaw explosives? Yeah, you can, but still they'll find other ways to kill people. So the only remedy to that is to train people to be Krishna conscious. Then they would stop doing things like that. Right? Are you going to go out and kill somebody? No. You've learned to be Krishna conscious. You're going to kill an ant? No. Okay. So we don't just stop killing people. We stop killing anything, right? Or at least we try to not kill anything. So you see, these concepts are illusory, because when you actually pursue the concept, you see that it doesn't work. Just like he was sure that the economy is going good, I'm going to get elected again. And the whole economy tanked in a matter of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he lost the election, you know. And Biden also, because he has all these illusory ideas, he also will fail. Okay, we'll stop there. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So you see, even the scientists believe, some scientists believe, that we're living in an illusion.
In this case, they use in this case, he's a medical professor, but then he comes up with his own theory.
Yeah.
And then they give some credibility as if the scientists believe.
Yeah.
But there's no proof.
Because today the scientists are the pundits of society, right? People don't accept the Vedic literature. They don't accept genuine gurus. They accept scientists as the gurus. If they say something, they say, oh, it's got to be true. He's a scientist.
This article, Maharaj, in one of the Indian newspaper, India Times.
Yeah.
Like one of the big newspapers. The
Yeah.
article Prabhu was reading.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was covered in India Times.
India Times is like one of the biggest, big one.
Big nonsense. Yeah. Haribol. Yeah, but their conclusion is you can play with the Maya because it's only an illusion. Right?
The conclusion is exactly the same.
Yeah. Haribol. Okay, who wants to sing? Yes, come. Yeah. That was a very good question, Gopal Krishna. Very good question.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma
Bando Mui Savadana Mate
Bando Mui Savadana Mate
Jara Prasade Bai E Baba Toriya Jai
Janara Prasadevai He Baba Toriya Jai
Krishna Prapti Hoy Ja Hoy Te
Krishna Prabhuti Hoya Hoy te
Gurumukha Padma Vakya Chitite Koriya Kya
Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya
Arana Koriyo Mane Asha
Arana Koriya Mane Asa
Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati
Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati
Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha
He prasade pure sarvasa
Chakshudam dilo jai janme janme Prabhu se
Chakshudhan dila je janme janme Prabhu se
Chakshudam dilo jai janme janme Prabhu se
Chakshudhan dila je janme janme Prabhu se
Divya Gyan Hruday Prakasito
Divya Gyani Devakasito
Prema Bhakti jaha hote avidya vinasa jate
Prema bhakti jaha hote avidya vinasa jate
Vedega jahara charito
Vedagaya Janara Charito
Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu
Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adana Janara Bandhu
Lokenath Lokera Jivana
Lokera Jivana
Aha Prabhu Koro Doya Deho More Pada Chaya
Aha Prabhu Kolo Doya Deha Modi Pada Chaya
Ebijas Gaushik Tribhuvana
Devayas Kusukhi Bhuvana
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Pada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauramani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine
Nama Om Vishnu Pradaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Vattatya Desatarine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva
Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol
Hari Bol Nitai Gauri
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajikacharasta Tarasatarishi Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapura Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Patita Bhavani Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tanamani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Paskatya Dasatarni. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain the pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish that attachment to his lotus feet is perfection and fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and Lord and master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread throughout all the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavani Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi. Deve Guruvani Pracharani.